any synthetic pesticides or chemical fertilizers. Let me just mention some facts about pesticides. Pesticides are man-made chemicals used to protect plants, fruits, and berries from damage by agricultural pests like insects. In some cases, pesticides are sprayed over the area where the plants are grown. Many of them remain in nature for a very long time after spraying, and these are called persistent organic pollutants, or just POPs. Moreover, they don't remain in the place where they're used. Instead, they spread, like the red spot on the picture of the globe, all over the Earth, to the land, the oceans, to the Arctic and Antarctic regions, and around the equator. One very unpleasant fact about pesticides and other POPs is that they're transported along food chains from plants to plant-eating animals. The farmer sprays his fields and apple trees with pesticides. In the picture, the pesticides are shown as small red dots. The grass, the apples, the salad, and also insects and worms will all contain these pesticides. The cow eating the grass and the chickens eating insects and worms will have these pesticides inside their bodies. And of course, the milk and meat from the cow and the eggs and meat from the chickens will also contain these pesticides. As POPs are transported along food chains, their concentrations increase. This is also true for other contaminants, like heavy metals, including mercury from industry and cadmium from mines. In a lake, small fish eat very small animals, like insects. Bigger fish eat the small fish, and very big fish eat almost any fish they can swallow. In a polluted lake, the concentration of contaminants will increase from the small fish to the larger fish. That is, the lowest concentration will be found in the small fish and the highest in the large fish. As you can see, the number of red dots is much higher in the big fish than in the small fish. What would you think about eating a fish caught in a polluted lake? On the table, you can see apples, salad, cheese, milk, eggs, and a steak, all of which come from the farmer who's using pesticides on his fields. And as I mentioned before, all of this will of course contain the pesticides. On the table, you can also see a big fried fish on a plate. This fish came from a polluted lake, and as you're probably aware by now, it has a rather high concentration of contaminants. So the foods we eat can be sources of chemical contaminants that enter our bodies. A bit earlier, we mentioned organic foods. Organic foods never contain genetically modified organisms. Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, are plants, animals, or microorganisms with their genetic characteristics altered. If food contains genetically modified organisms, it should be indicated in its label. Some people think genetic modification is a great way to improve plants, but others are concerned. So it's important to keep abreast of the facts about GMOs. We've heard about processed, organic, and genetically modified foods. So how can we make wise choices when buying food? Check the ingredients on labels, and if possible, choose the less processed one. Choose preservative-free whole grain bread. Avoid artificial coloring. Buy color-free yogurts. Buy plain meat instead of processed meat, such as sausages or salami. Eat fresh vegetables instead of canned ones. Choose snacks like dry fruits and nuts instead of cookies, chips, and candy. Always try to choose fresh and less processed foods. Every day we enjoy preparing, cooking and eating our food at home, in restaurants, or in the school cafeteria. But sometimes food can be a source of illness. Someone with foodborne illness may suffer from diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal cramps or pain, nausea, chills, and fever, even just a couple of hours after eating the contaminated food. What causes food to become unsafe? Microorganisms, of course. Although we can't see them, they're almost everywhere, and they're a part of our daily lives. Some of them are bad guys, and we call them germs or harmful bacteria. Some microorganisms are good guys and help us to make tasty and safe food, like the bacteria that makes yogurt or baker's yeast in bread. Harmful bacteria can make us ill if they contaminate our food. We call this foodborne illness. So how are we going to stop this from happening? First of all, foods should be stored properly. Putting food in the refrigerator slows down the growth of bacteria. Some foods, such as seafood, meat, poultry and dairy products, mayonnaise, fresh fruits and vegetables, do not last long. They can quickly spoil under improper storage. Some other foods, such as dry fruits, beans, pasta, and jam, are long-lasting and don't spoil easily, so we can keep them at room temperature. It's important to check storage instructions on the labels of packaged foods. Vegetables and fruits should be washed with running water for safety. Raw chicken or meat shouldn't come into contact with other foods such as vegetables or fruits. Do you know why? Because you can transfer harmful microorganisms from one food to another. This is called cross-contamination. Prevention of cross-contamination is a very important part of food safety. Proper cooking at high temperatures or boiling kills harmful bacteria. Take care while eating meat. Check the center of meat. It should be very hot. The color of meat must not be pink or red. What is Mark doing wrong here? Don't put backpacks, school supplies, or sporting equipment in places used for food preparation or eating. Don't forget to wash your hands before and after eating, and also before and after handling the food. Remember cross-contamination. Keep the germs away and protect yourself against illnesses. It's very important to wake up early enough to have time for breakfast, basic hygiene, and to gather everything you need for your daily activities. It's fun to help your parents make breakfast. We put together a colorful breakfast as a good family team. A good breakfast can contain foods from 3 groups: milk and dairy products, cereals, and fruits and vegetables. When you skip breakfast, you've skipped an opportunity to improve your health. Why is Anna feeling so tired? If you want to get better grades and be sharp all morning, then be smart and don't skip breakfast. It's break time, and it's time for a snack. Look what Anna's eating. Choose wisely, and don't forget water. Look at this burned hamburger. Did you know that simple compounds present in food can be bound to one another during frying or grilling and form harmful compounds? These harmful compounds are other examples of the chemical contaminants I've already mentioned. Chemicals that have not been added on purpose, but may pose a risk to human health. These chemicals are present in food as a result of the various steps in its production, from the growing of plants to their harvest, transportation, storage, packaging, processing, and cooking. Chemical contaminants in food may cause a vast variety of different negative health effects. Some of these are fairly harmless and short-lived, such as simple skin irritation and headaches. A few others may be very severe, such as cancer. What should you have for lunch? Combine protein sources, that is meat or fish, with vegetables. Vegetables have dietary fiber, vitamins, and phytochemicals. For dessert, you can have fruit or cake, but choose fruit more often. If you want to go the vegetarian way, gather some extra information about how to plan your diet. Keep in mind, Both vegetarian and non-vegetarian diets can be unhealthy if not planned properly. Dinner is one of the 3 main meals of the day, and you shouldn't skip it. Try to make your dinner smaller than lunch, and eat no later than 2 or 3 hours before going to bed. Dinner can be salads, sandwiches, and fruit. The size of the meals and the calories you need depend on whether you're a boy or a girl, and also on whether you're very active or not. Boys generally need more calories than girls, and the more active you are, the more energy you need. Unlike other periods of life, teenagers are characterized by a huge variety in body shapes and sizes, so don't worry, normal isn't what you see on TV, in movies, or magazines. Healthy teens come in all shapes and sizes.